I hope you guys are beginning to see that lesser forms of testimonial are incomplete and are not able to be relied on as truthful or honest. In our previous video, we spoke about how after pictures can be altered by photo altering programs and how props such as hair fibers or hair transplant can be used to make it seem like somebody grew their hair back. It's a sad truth, but it's the world that we live in. And on top of that, we live in a digital era where we can't believe everything we see, especially online. I highly suggest that you guys check out that video so you can gain more insight about the extra credibility that's afforded to us because of the developed photos we use to document many user journeys. But the fact of the matter is that we should question the truthfulness of before and afters because they have shortcomings. These shortcomings not only say a lot about the testimonial, but they say a lot about the person, the brand, the company, the competitors that choose to use them. Lesser testimonials display little to no transparency. That is, whether deliberate or not, they leave out crucial parts of the testimonial that should have been easy to attain. Someone who sees this should think, you're able to get that last important result, but what about everything else in between? They bring about questionable intent. Neglecting those crucial parts of the testimonial should make someone wonder about the intention of the work. Do they leave out those essential parts because of some incapability of the solution that they're selling? They show inconsistency in hair growth progress. No one grows a full head of hair from a bald spot overnight. Certain areas fill in first to a point where a desired look is underway. In relation to this, they also convey a dishonest view about hair growth process. As mentioned already, hair follicle reactivation, regrowth, growth all take time. They don't happen overnight. And lastly, they lack integrity. That is, the work they present has cracks, it has flaws in it that don't allow it to be strong enough to withstand criticism. They'll break, just as I've demonstrated for you right now. Our user journeys reject any association with these unfavorable characteristics of dishonesty. Rather, the truthfulness they and us as an authority in hair loss hair growth science exhibit is embodied through their transparency. We show you before, after, and in between, and even provide you with a user's hair loss backstory when available. We do this to not only provide proof of our solution's effectiveness, but to also present you with real-life hair growth success stories to reference from. They also provide clear intent. We've worked so hard to provide you with the most complete hair loss to hair growth stories of different types. This has been meant to help warrant comfort in recognizing that our work and in effect our solutions are the real deal. We have nothing to hide and don't want to. That wouldn't do us any good whatsoever. We'd be just like everybody else, which we're not. We're on a different level of expertise in this field. Consistency in hair growth progress. Our all-natural blend hair follicle reactivator technology really changes the hair loss game by the mode of action it employs, and by its direct targeting of the true etiologic agent of hair loss, which we'll talk about another time. This is confirmed by its ability to combat issues found along the full spectrum of hair loss. Not even minoxidil Rogaine or finasteride Proscar Propecia have achieved this yet. So the consistency in hair growth progress that we have attained by use of our solutions is well documented by us. We understand the typical pattern of hair growth that general hair loss candidates or individual sufferers of alopecia areata totalis universalis or sufferers of chemically and mechanically induced alopecia should follow. We are consistent. Not only that, but they convey the utmost honest view about the hair regrowth process. We call them user journeys for a reason, because hair growth takes time. Through our system, the mode of reactivation is mainly reliant on the user. Without getting into too much detail, the normal hair growth cycle resumed by the user should be the same as it was before their hair loss occurrence. What I'm saying is that a 3-month, 6-month, 2-year journey is highly dependent on the user's biological chemistry, and of course on the type of hair loss that they faced before starting our system. And finally, the integrity that they exemplify cannot be overlooked. The overall work that they present manages to cover many bases so as to not leave the viewer questioning the truthfulness of the testimonial nor solution's ability. It's a situation or a characteristic, depending on how you look at it, whereby any question or concern that someone has, we won't feel pressure to answer it because the work has done its best to be able to answer that question already. We celebrate the integrity that they have and know that they don't have intentional cracks stemming from their completeness. With all this said, it's very apparent that user journeys exhibit a degree of trustworthiness that puts lesser forms of testimonial to shame. Before and after should not be trusted because they present faults in their transparency, intent, consistency, honesty, and integrity. The work that they present also says a lot about the person, brand, company, and competitor that chooses to use them. User journeys, however, tackle those characteristics of trustworthiness head on and refrain from leaving intentional cracks. In effect, they garner a trustworthiness that lesser forms of testimonial will never be able to attain. In closing, the completeness of our user journeys undoubtedly outshines the likes of any lesser form of testimonial, proving them to be more valuable. For one, they're more informative. They allow a user's hair loss to hair growth story to be more easily followed, and in doing so, can allow a viewer of the testimonial to feel like they were part of the experience. They also permit valuable inferences to be made that otherwise might not have been mentioned. Secondly, they exude worth. Worth seen in how they can act as a research tool for academia and as a reference guide for individuals seeking a solution to their hair loss issues. They also convey the worthiness that we see in helping hair loss sufferers, in the hair growth experience, and in our solutions ability. Lastly, they exhibit trustworthiness. A trustworthiness acknowledged from the transparency and intent that they present by including before, after, and in between results. A trustworthiness demonstrated by the consistency and honesty they declare about hair growth progress and the process. And a trustworthiness ingrained throughout the integrity of the work that rises to the occasion when met with scrutiny. Honestly, they effortlessly exhibit this characteristic because they're really just an extension of who we are, a true authority in hair loss, hair growth science. I hope that you guys have now come to understand how we truly view a user journey. We view it in the same way that you would that amazing trip, as a well-documented, once-in-a-lifetime experience that was so fun to be a part of, that we'll always cherish and continue to share with others.